The warning. Ignored. The hall of the Galactic Council echoed with laughter. Representatives from dozens of star systems sat in tall chairs made of shining metals. Holograms floated in the air, showing planets, fleets, and diplomatic records. But when Earth's ambassador spoke, no one listened. Instead, they smirked, whispered, or rolled their eyes. The ambassador, a tall man named Mark, stood at the center. His voice was calm but firm. "We have detected unknown movements along the outer rim," he said. "A large force is gathering. This is not a training exercise, it is a threat. If you do not act now, it may be too late." A lizard-like alien, the representative from Corla, waved a claw dismissively. "Humans always think there is danger. You see shadows in the light." It hissed. Another voice joined in, this time from the feline-like Lurai ambassador. "Humans are new to the stars. You panic too easily." The room filled with quiet chuckles. Mark's jaw tightened. "This is no panic. We've seen ships, large ones, black hulls, silent engines. They're moving fast and not answering hails." "And?" asked the insectoid from Grell. "Why should we care about your human sensors? You cry wolf every season." Mark paused. He took a deep breath. "Earth is calling for joint action. A defense force. We must intercept now." The council speaker, a floating being of light known as Orin, chimed in gently. "Ambassador Mark, your concerns have been recorded. However, without stronger proof, no resources will be committed." The lights dimmed. The session ended. Mark walked out slowly. His aide, a quiet woman named Leah, joined him outside the chamber. "They won't act," Mark said, shaking his head. "Not until it's too late." "They never do," Leah replied. "But Earth is ready." He nodded. "Yes. They think we're all talk. They'll learn soon enough." Back on Earth, the mood was different. Inside a deep underground command center, leaders from every nation stood around a large table. On the screens, black ships were moving closer toward neutral space. They hadn't fired, but they hadn't answered any communication either. A general named Price spoke. "We gave the council every chance. They chose silence." A voice from a corner of the room added, "Then let them stay silent. Earth will act alone." Mark appeared on the screen from orbit. "Authorization confirmed?" "Confirmed." "Price?" replied. Mark's voice was cold now. "Then prepare Operation Iron Sky." Far above Earth, in orbit, dozens of sleek warships sat hidden behind dark energy fields. These were not shown to the Council. Earth had kept them secret for a reason. Aboard the lead vessel, the Horizon Blade, Commander Ray stood in silence as orders came through. "All fleets," he said into the comms. "Launch formation Alpha. Target the lead ships in the unknown armada. This is not a warning shot, this is the first move." Within seconds, the blackness of space lit up with fire. Missiles flew. Energy beams cut through the stars. The first unknown ship shattered under the assault. The second tried to run. It never got far. Earth had struck first. Back in the council chamber, alarms rang out. "What's happening?" shouted the Corla representative. The screens lit up with emergency signals. A large battle was happening near Sector 41. Unknown vessels were falling back. Human ships were in pursuit. "Earth launched an attack," someone said. "Without our approval?" gasped the Grell representative. "No," said a voice quietly. "Because you gave them no choice." For the first time in years, the council chamber went silent. And in that silence, fear took root. Fire in the void. The human fleet moved like a storm through the stars. On board the Horizon Blade, Commander Ray stood on the bridge watching the tactical display. Red dots, enemy ships, flashed and vanished one by one. Human ships moved in tight formations, silent and ruthless. They weren't testing the waters. This was a full assault. Ray's voice was steady. "Target next wave. Do not let any escape." Behind him, his crew worked quickly. No hesitation. Earth had prepared for this day. The warnings had been mocked, but humanity had not been idle. Far ahead, the enemy fleet was scattering. Their black ships weren't ordinary raiders. They were well armed and fast. But they hadn't expected humans to strike first. They thought, Earth would wait, talk, plead with the Council. They were wrong. 2 enemy cruisers turned to fire back. Blue beams shot toward the human line. One hit a human frigate, tearing into its armor. The ship drifted, flames bursting from its side. Ray didn't flinch. Recover survivors, keep advancing. Back in the council chamber, chaos unfolded. Ambassadors shouted over one another. Some called for emergency sessions, others demanded answers. How did Earth build such a fleet without our knowledge? One asked. They've violated the Galactic Peace Code. They've saved our sectors, shouted another voice. Look at the scans, they're pushing the enemy back. Orin, the Speaker of the Council, floated silently above them all, studying the screens. His light pulsed faintly. Humanity acted alone, he said, because we forced them to. There was a long pause. They warned us, he added. We didn't listen. On Earth, in the command center, the news was spreading fast. General Price received the latest report. 10 enemy, ships destroyed, 3 captured, and 1 trying to flee back into deep space. Order our stealth units to follow that one, he said. Find out where it came from. Leah looked up from her console. Sir, there's chatter across galactic comms. Civilian stations are cheering. Some even raised Earth's banner. Price smirked. Let them. Maybe now they'll realize Earth isn't just another voice in the crowd. Meanwhile, in deep space, the enemy regrouped. Inside one of their command ships, a tall figure stood before a screen showing the battle. Its sharp claws tapped the console. A voice behind it whispered, "They weren't supposed to fight." The tall one growled, "The humans are more dangerous than expected." Another hissed, "Shall we call the Prime Force?" The leader turned, its eyes glowing faintly. "Not yet. Let us see how far Earth will go." Back on the horizon blade, Commander Ray stood by the window, staring into the darkness. He spoke quietly to his second-in-command. "We warned them. We gave the Council every chance, but sometimes action must come before permission." The officer nodded. "They'll fear us now." Ray's eyes narrowed. "They should." He turned back to the display. "Set course for the next sector. If these things came from somewhere, we'll find it and we'll end it." The stars outside seemed to tremble as Earth's fleet advanced. Humanity had spoken, with fire. Earth's resolve, Earth's battle fleet reached the edge of the dark zone, an uncharted region beyond the known sectors. No council ships had ever dared to go this far, but Earth's commanders knew that was where the enemy had come from. The stars here seemed dimmer. Space felt colder. The silence was deeper. Commander Ray stood at the center of the horizon blade's bridge. "We're entering hostile space. All ships go dark. Stealth protocols on." One by one, the human ships powered down their external lights. Their engines dimmed. Like shadows among stars, they slid forward. Silent, invisible, deadly. Meanwhile, back on Earth, General Price watched the live feed. He stood beside Leah in the command center, eyes focused on the data streams. "Any word? From the Council?" he asked. She nodded. "They've called for a special assembly. Some are calling for sanctions against us. Others are begging for Earth to lead the response." Price grinned. "So now they listen." Leah scrolled through new messages. Civilian stations from 5 systems are sending thank you messages. They say Earth's strike saved them. Price tapped the table. "Then we keep pushing. Let the Council talk. We'll do what they won't." In the Council chamber, the mood had changed. The arrogant tones were gone. Now voices were hushed. Fear clung to every sentence. "We can't control them," muttered one ambassador. "Earth acts without approval." "They shouldn't have needed our approval," said another. "We failed to respond. We let this threat grow." Orin, the speaker, pulsed with slow, thoughtful light. "Earth warned us. Their actions are harsh, yes, but perhaps necessary." "But what if they go too far?" the insectoid ambassador asked. "What if Earth becomes the very threat we feared?" No one answered. Back in the dark zone, Earth's ships moved deeper. On board the Horizon Blade, the crew detected something strange. A station, massive and silent, floated ahead, half hidden behind a dead moon. It wasn't shown on any council maps. Ray studied it through the main screen. That's no trade post. Look at the design. Sharp edges, heavy armor, that's a military dock. A young officer pointed. Multiple heat signatures, sir. Hundreds of ships. Dormant, but active. Ray gave the order without hesitation. Target. Their fuel lines. We'll strike first, then move before they know what hit them. The assault was sudden. Stealth drones moved in first, planting charges along the station's support structures. Moments later, human warships fired coordinated salvos. Explosions tore through the silent dock. Fire bloomed in the cold void. Enemy ships scrambled to react, but Earth's fleet had already moved. Fast, precise, ruthless. Inside the burning wreckage, the enemy commander hissed in fury. "The humans again," its officer replied. "They've traced us. We must call for backup now." The leader slammed a clawed hand into the console. "Do it." As the enemy scrambled, Earth's fleet vanished again, melting into the shadows. Ray looked at the display. Over 30 enemy ships destroyed before a single alarm had sounded. "Send the message back to Earth," he said. "Phase 2 complete. We've cut their resupply lines." His second-in-command leaned closer. "Sir, if they weren't angry before, they will be now." Ray gave a cold smile. "Let them come." Far away in deep council space, Orin received the report. His glow dimmed. "Humanity fights like no other," he whispered, and the council finally began to understand. Earth had warned them, and Earth wasn't done. The enemy answers alarms blared across hidden bases in the dark zone. The enemy fleet, scattered and disorganized after Earth's surprise attacks, was now regrouping. Hundreds of their ships, previously waiting in stealth, powered up together. Their red symbols lit up across the void like a swarm of angry wasps. From the bridge of the lead enemy warship, the enemy commander snarled. Its tall, armored body stood, tense as it watched human destruction spread across their outer stations. "We underestimated them," it growled. "That was our mistake." Behind it, one of its lieutenants hissed, "What now?" "We call the Prime Force. No more games. The humans want a war. We will give them one." Back on the Horizon Blade, sensors lit up. Commander Ray stood still as his tactical officer's voice filled the air. "Sir, we have incoming. Large-scale movement, fast and coordinated. Hundreds of enemy ships heading toward our last known location." Ray's expression didn't change. "They're angry. Good." His second-in-command glanced over. "We've poked the hive." Ray nodded. "Now let's burn it down." He tapped his wrist console. "Alert all captains. Prepare for full engagement. This will be the largest space battle since Earth joined the stars." On Earth, General Price received the update. The war room darkened, displays showing a flood of red dots converging on human positions in the dark zone. Earth's fleet was outnumbered 5-1. Leah turned to Price. "Should we recall them?" Price shook his head. "No. Humanity has trained for this moment. We never expected help. We'll win without it." She looked concerned. "And if we don't?" He looked up at the ceiling where Earth's flag hung above the operations room. "Then we'll make sure the galaxy remembers who we were." The enemy fleet entered the battlefield. Like a storm of black blades, they rushed forward, firing energy beams, missiles, and spiked torpedoes. The stars turned red with heat and fire, but Earth's fleet didn't fall back. Ray gave the order. "Engage Formation Delta. Target lead cruisers first. Cut the head off the snake." Human ships split into wings, using terrain, asteroid fields, and decoys. Earth's warships were smaller, but faster, more precise, designed to fight without support. The battle was chaos. Explosions echoed in the vacuum of space. Frigates tore apart. Missiles collided. Energy beams sliced through shields. In the middle of the chaos, the Horizon Blade charged forward. Ray's ship led the attack. It cut through enemy lines, engines burning blue. Dozens of enemy fighters closed in, but Earth's gunners were already tracking them. On board, the crew worked like clockwork. Every shot counted, every move was planned. "Direct hit," a crew member shouted. "Enemy flagship is breaking apart." Ray didn't smile. "Keep going. We win when they run." Back in the council chamber, Oren watched the live broadcast. The entire chamber was silent. On the screens, Earth's fleet was winning against impossible odds. The enemy was retreating. How? A representative whispered. "How are they doing this?" Oren pulsed slowly. "They warned us. We ignored them. And now we watch, as they save us." The council was no longer debating. They were witnessing something they couldn't understand. Humanity didn't wait for approval. Humanity acted. Back in deep space, the last wave of enemy ships pulled back. The battle was over. Earth ships were damaged but standing. Human pilots cheered across comms. Fires were put out. Wounded were treated. Commander Ray sat quietly on the bridge, staring at the stars. His second-in-command approached. "We won," Ray replied softly. "This was just the middle. The true war is still ahead." He looked at the stars beyond. "And Earth will be ready." Behind enemy lines, the stars remained quiet, but Earth's fleet did not rest. Commander Ray stood before a holographic map deep inside the horizon blade. The enemy fleet had been beaten back, but the question remained. From where had they come, and who commanded them? A signal blinked red on the far edge of the dark zone. "That's it," Ray said. "The source. We traced their fleeing ship here. A deep space structure, far beyond any charted region." His second-in-command leaned closer. "A command station?" Ray's face hardened. "Or something worse. Either way, we're going in." On Earth, General Price reviewed the data. The live feed showed schematics of a structure buried in an asteroid field. It was massive, easily 10 times the size of any council spaceport. Strange energy readings pulsed from within. Leah turned toward Price. "Our scouts say it's more than just a station. It's a breeding facility, maybe even a cloning yard." Price frowned. "That means more fleets, maybe entire armadas." "We have one shot," Leah added. Price nodded. "Then, we hit it hard and leave nothing behind." Ray called for a silent strike team. 5 stealth frigates left the main fleet, carrying elite ground squads trained in infiltration and sabotage. They were Earth's finest, specialists prepared for deep solo missions. Their target: breach the AO structure, plant charges in its power core, and extract before detonation. The mission was dangerous. Ray knew most wouldn't return, but Earth had no choice. Inside the massive station, the enemy moved without fear. Their leader, tall and armored, stood before a massive tank filled with dark liquid. Within floated dozens of creatures, half-formed, waiting to be born. A whispering voice echoed behind the leader. "The humans approach." "I know," the commander growled. "Let them. They have no idea what they've truly found." It turned toward the darkness. "Activate the hive guard." The infiltration team landed silently. They moved like shadows. Through the halls, laser cutters opened sealed doors. Silencers on rifles kept the kills quiet. But deep inside, resistance grew stronger. Strange creatures, unlike anything seen before, swarmed from the walls, fast, armored, and deadly. They were not soldiers, they were weapons. Earth's team fought bravely. Room by room, they cleared the way. But one by one, they began to fall. The team leader, a soldier named Kane, pressed forward with the last few remaining. "We're close," he said through gritted teeth. "We see the core." Ray watched from the horizon blade in orbit, heart pounding. The timer on the feed ticked down. Kane's voice came through, static-filled. "Charges set. 5 minutes to detonation. Getting out now." But the feed cut out. "Do we go back for them?" asked the officer beside Ray. Ray's eyes stayed locked on the screen. "We complete the mission. If they're alive, they'll make it." 4 minutes later, the dark zone lit up. The enemy structure erupted in a silent explosion that tore through the asteroid field. A shockwave pushed back debris. The light was so bright it could be seen from Earth's moon. Ray stood as the silence returned. Mission complete, but there was no cheer, no celebration. Only respect for those who stayed behind to make sure it happened. Back on Earth, the Council watched in silence. Orin's voice broke through. They gave their lives, not just for Earth, but for all of us. One of the former critics stood slowly. We were wrong. Humanity is not reckless. They are protectors. Orin spoke one more word: leaders. The shift in power, the remains of the enemy station drifted in space like shattered bones. Fire and debris floated among broken steel. There was no signal, no sound, only silence. But Earth wasn't done. Commander Ray stood at the bridge of the Horizon Blade, studying the wreckage. Scan everything. I want to be sure nothing crawled away from that blast. A crew member replied, Sir, debris fields are spreading fast, but there are no life signs. Ray nodded slowly. Then it's time to send the message. Across the galaxy, every major comm station lit up at once. A single broadcast, in every known language, played. On loop, this is Commander Ray of Earth's fleet. The enemy station is destroyed. The threat has been neutralized. You mocked our warnings. You ignored our pleas. But Earth stood alone, and we acted. We do not seek war, but we will not wait for permission to protect our people. The age of silence is over. The message spread like wildfire. From the inner council worlds to the far mining colonies, beings of all kinds watched it in stunned silence. And they remembered. In the council chamber, for the first time in generations, no one spoke over each other. Orin, glowing brighter than ever, addressed the floor. Earth did what we failed to do. They saw the danger, acted alone, and saved us all. One representative stood up. We were wrong to mock them. Earth is not a child among stars. They are a force. Another added, it is time they had a seat among the high ranks of the council. Orin raised a hand. Let it be recorded. Humanity shall no longer be dismissed. They will lead. Back. In Earth's command center, General Price sat quietly. Leah turned to him. The council is calling. They want to speak to Earth directly. Price raised an eyebrow. Do they want to scold us? She smiled. No, they want to follow us. Price chuckled. About time. He looked up at the monitors, showing the scattered remains of the enemy's dark zone empire. We gave them every warning, he muttered. Now they understand. A week later, Earth ships began returning home. Docking bays opened. Injured were rushed to medical. Survivors embraced. Flags waved. The people of Earth cheered. Streets were filled with joy, not just for victory, but for honor. No longer was Earth the ignored planet on the Council's edge. Now they were the ones who set the standard. In deep space, however, not everything was quiet. From the far end of the galaxy, far beyond where Earth had looked, a shadow moved. A message, encrypted and ancient, was sent into the dark. A voice responded in a whisper. So, the humans are awake. It wasn't over, but Earth had changed everything. Humanity rises. Earth's name echoed across the stars. What began as a warning had become a war. What began as mockery ended in awe. The Council had once seen Earth as noisy, emotional, and reckless. Now they saw something else. A power, a protector, a force that refused to bow. At Council headquarters, a historic session was held. Ambassadors from over 100 systems stood in silence as Earth's representative walked to the center. Not with bodyguards, not with fear. He stood tall, calm, proud. This council once ignored our voice, he said. You mocked our fears. You laughed at our warnings. He paused, letting the silence settle. But Earth does not run. When the danger came, we acted, alone, without support, without permission. He lifted a small device. It projected images of burning enemy stations, retreating enemy fleets, and Earth ships flying forward into the dark. Let it be known, we will always act to defend life, even when others are too afraid to. No one interrupted, no one laughed, they simply nodded. Commander Ray, now returned to Earth, stood on a cliff overlooking the sea. Ships flew overhead. Children played below. Peace had returned, for now. His second-in-command approached. The council wants you to speak at the galaxy's memorial event. Ray didn't look away from the sea. Let the diplomats speak. I've said all I needed, with action. The officer smiled. They listen now. Ray nodded. They'd better. Next time, we may not have time to explain. In the far corners of space, new alliances began forming. Worlds that had never trusted Earth now asked for training, cooperation, and trade. Some called for a new defense alliance, one led by humanity. Earth's fleet began expanding, no longer to threaten but to protect. The message was clear. Humanity was not here to dominate, but they would never be ignored again. Deep in a hidden system, a shadowy enemy watched the recordings. One figure hissed, "They destroyed our outposts, crushed our scouts, found our secrets." Another leaned forward. "They were supposed to be weak." "They are not," the leader replied. "They are something different." Its eyes narrowed. "And we will need far more than fleets to stop them next time." Back on Earth, in a quiet room, General Price stood before a display, showing the stars. Leah entered behind him. "It's strange. The Council's highest honor is being sent to Earth next week. They want to build a monument." Price didn't turn. "We don't need a monument." Leah tilted her head. "Then what do we need?" He turned finally, his voice firm. Readiness. The galaxy had changed. Lines were redrawn, laws rewritten. But one truth remained: humanity had warned them. Humanity had struck first, and humanity would never wait again.